Let's move on to NBA title tiers, though, Kane. I want to start with this little 3-team tier at the bottom here. The number 13 team that I have is the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans, I am well aware that this team is 30-29 right now. Not a team that you would think really is in the mix heavily. Having said that, when Zion Williamson was healthy, the team was first in the Western Conference. They're 17-12 in the games that Zion Williamson has played this season. I at least had to throw them in. I at least had to very, very, very quickly mention them. So, Kane, I'll ask you this. As said at the top, the structure of this is going to be why this team can win the title, why they can't win the title. So I'll ask the first question. Kane, why can the New Orleans Pelicans win the 2023 NBA title?
They've got Williamson and Brandon Ingram, but you mentioned what their record is with Zion. I'm curious what their record is with Brandon Ingram, and then I'm curious what their record is with both of those players, because I don't think that they've played too much together this season. So even when they were winning games earlier in the year, they didn't have Brandon Ingram for a lot of that. They looked pretty decent defensively, and so I think they're a dangerous team if they're healthy. But they're also probably a year too early, and I don't think anyone thought at the start of the season they were going to be at the top of the Western Conference across the first month or two of the season. And ultimately now you are looking at, it's going to be almost 2 months. That might be best case with Zion has missed games with a hamstring. That is a very big hamstring, and there is significant concern, obviously, about his health moving forward. So that's a big one. That might be why they can win. It might also be why they can't win. But I think everyone has enjoyed watching this team this season of what they did earlier in the season. Obviously, they got a lot of fans here in Australia with Dyson Daniels and what he was able to do. And then he also got the injury bug. So they've had a bit of bad luck along the way.
So trivia time for Kane Pitman here. What
go.
Do you think the Pelicans net rating is in the minutes that Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and CJ McCollum have played together this season?
Can I at least first have how many minutes they have actually played together?
I want to hold off on that because that is my second part of the point I'm going to make.
Okay. I think that they're around an even team on the season, which would make sense. They're around a 500 team.
Yeah.
So with those three guys on the floor, I figure they're going to be a positive. Let's just throw a rough number, a +7, +8.
They're a plus 14.9.
Yeah, there you go.
When Zion, Brandon Ingram, and CJ McCollum share the court. That's the reason that I think that this team is worth talking about in a title competition. Additionally, this is a team that has a lot of lineup versatility up and down the lineup. You can throw out guys like Najee Marshall, Dyson Daniels, Herb Jones that can be super high-level defenders. You can throw out bigs like Jonas Valanciunas if you want to try and bludgeon a team with him and Zion Williamson. You can play small and versatile if you want to play with Larry Nance and Zion in the front court that way. There are just a lot of different ways that I think this team can beat you. Having said that, the reason this team can't win the title is that those three guys have played 172 minutes together this season. It's not a lot of minutes, right? They're going to need some time, I think, to really ramp up when they play really great teams. And I think that that's really the main issue for me is that I don't really think I can trust Zion to stay healthy right now. I don't think I can trust Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum to totally stay on the floor together all as a unit at this point, just because we haven't really seen it yet. And until we see it, it's very hard to trust.
Yeah, totally agree. And the 170 minutes or whatever that number was that you mentioned there, I mean, what does the +14 even mean? That's why they are a theoretical team at the moment. But as I said, early in the season, they were one of the teams when I'm flicking through League Pass. I'm like, the Pelicans are playing. Let's put them on because they're seriously entertaining. Defensively, they're still top 10 in the league because of the guys you mentioned with Herb Jones and all these guys that they can flick around, go small, go big. So the fact that they've had all those injuries and they're still top 10 defensively on the season shows that for the future, they've got the group of guys together that you can put together a winning team.